So yeah, I'm Ben. I'm with Revival Events. I kind of handle, especially the finances, some element of the organization, and really just kind of utility player, I guess, whatever's needed. And yeah, and so I think Revival has been a really good opportunity to see kind of the power community and the power that comes with a bunch of people coming together for a common cause, and that's been one of the more meaningful aspects of my time here with Revival.
Nice. How long have you been involved with Revival?
Coming up on a year actually. So I think April was the first show that I was a part of. April of 2018, and now it's March of 2019. So coming up on a year.
Cool. How long have you been in Bellingham? Have you been here for much longer than Revival's been around?
Yeah, so I've been here about 3.5 years now. So for a minute.
What brought you this way?
School. So I went to school for a couple of years back home, and then took a year off trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then all of a sudden visited some friends, stumbled upon Bellingham, and fell in love with everything about Bellingham, everything about Western, and here I am.
What do you love about Bellingham? What gave you that feeling of just such deep love and excitement? What about it?
The versatility, I'd say. And the versatility along with kind of the close-knit community, because you can live in a place like Seattle, which is huge and has all sorts of different options, but once again, it's hundreds of thousands of people. Whereas when you come to Bellingham, it's a small community, but there's so many different things that you can do, so many different things you can be a part of. And so being in a close-knit community like that still has those options has really just been like a perfect fit for me.
Nice. Being from the Northwest, I assume? Are you from the Northwest?
Northwest Spokane, Washington.
Okay. Yeah, so
509.
Being from the Pacific Northwest, what was your first encounter with live hip hop, and how did it affect you?
Yeah, so Spokane,
End of story.
That's my answer. No, yeah, Spokane, it definitely doesn't have a great hip hop scene, but it does have a hip hop scene. Granted, that hip hop scene wasn't necessarily something I was a part of because the high school I went to, the community I lived in, was more rural than it was urban. So there, I went to a couple underground shows really, but outside of that, there weren't many major hip hop artists that would come through to Spokane. So there wasn't anything crazy like that. Like I saw Macklemore when I was really young. And that was like the first memorable hip hop artist.
Being from Washington, when Macklemore first came into himself a little bit, that was really cool for our scene because we didn't really that was really mainstream at the time. We didn't really know, I didn't being from Washington, I didn't really know of any Seattle-based hip hop artists.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. It didn't super resonate with me.
No, you're right, and especially if we're talking about PNW, especially hip hop artists, a lot of them are underground. You look say Blue Scholars, Common Market, whatever it may be. But yeah, that was the first really mainstream artist that I can think of that came from Seattle, at least in the hip hop scene. And so, make of Macklemore what you will, he did lift up at least the Seattle hip hop scene, and then I think because it's Seattle, the Pacific Northwest hip hop scene for sure.
What's your favorite hip hop show you've ever seen? What emotions did it invoke in you? Have you seen many?
Thoughtfulness, I would say, because I think that's a piece of hip hop that it isn't as prevalent in other genres. Is that obviously you have your 808s, you have your flip samples, whatever it may be, but then there's the lyricism that comes with that, and so I think that hip hop can bring both just dancing and just enjoyment of the music, but then also you can just sit there and just kind of rock and just kind of think about what's being spoken. And so I think the versatility, once again, of the genre is what I enjoy most about going to those shows.
Nice. The word going around is that you make music. What are your goals as a musician? What does that look like for you?
I would say just to have fun. So I definitely, in terms of playing music, making music, it was kind of a late developing thing for me.
What do you play? Do you sing? Do you write?
I like to say that I play anything that makes noise, but just not well in any of those aspects. But I would say the original musical instrument that I learned was keys, and then voice. I definitely enjoy probably singing the most, just because it's something that just feels so authentic, and I just feel like I'm in better tune with than any other instrument. just because it's coming from, right inside here. But yeah, and so really anything that makes noise, I'll play and make the best of what it is. But really, the performance aspect of music is my favorite aspect, just because I think it facilitates just having fun. Just whether it's playing with homies or if it's just playing by yourself, just trying to enjoy it best you can.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm.